Hi everybody, thanks for watching this video on drivinglessonscork.ie on whether mock driving tests are useful to do or not. I would say from my experience that mock driving tests are very useful to do in a certain context. The context being that a person has prepared very well for their driving test, has done maybe a number of lessons coming up to their driving test already, and they have about a week to go to their full driving test. So that if anything's spotted in the mock driving test with a week to go to the full driving test, then they have the opportunity to correct those issues with a week to go to the full driving test. Everything is done in a mock driving test that would generally be done in the full driving test, so people get to see the difference there is between driving lessons and the driving test in the mock test that they do. Main difference, of course, is that person's left on one's own to decide when they're going to do what they need to do as they're driving around in the mock test, and indeed, eventually in the full driving test. Silence in the car can be off-putting for some people. In your driving test, the test is not going to speak to you except to tell you where to go. We do it the exact same in the mock driving test, and that can be off-putting. Some people leave on a little bit of radio, but not too loud, to keep them settled in the mock driving test, and they may do that in the full driving test too, but again, they must not have it too loud. You must be able to hear the instructions you're getting in your mock driving test and your full driving test. Now, folks, most people do make a mess of their mock driving test. So if you make a mess of your mock driving test, don't panic. If you have a week to go to your full driving test, then you have time to work on the issues identified in the mock driving test. I had a young lady once from the west of Ireland, a very nervous driver, thought she'd never handle a driving test. She did a number of lessons, and she was coming on fairly well in the lessons, and her driving test date came. She was practicing at home with her partner a little bit on the driving, and the date of her driving test came up, and we did a few lessons again, and we decided with about a week or so to go that we'd do a mock driving test just to see how she'd get on. Well, I tell you now, she pulled the car up in the middle of the mock driving test, took the keys out of the ignition. She said, "Here you are, I'm not doing this." She just completely lost the plot in the driving test. She found it very difficult to do because of the issues I outlined earlier. So I was able to do a few more driving lessons with her before her full driving test, and we were able to work on things a little bit differently on the way up to her driving test. She passed her first driving test on her first attempt. So that was very good. Another gentleman, foreign national, he told me he'd failed 2 driving tests already. So we did a few driving lessons, and I couldn't see what his problem was. He seemed to be driving on fairly well. But again, I said I would do a mock driving test with him too. Again, now in the mock driving test, a few issues showed up. He was beginning to second guess himself as to whether he should or shouldn't go into junction, or should or shouldn't turn at a junction when the car was coming on, or whether he should wait. So again, we were able to change things a little bit in the next couple of lessons before his third driving test, and he got through on his third driving test. He got through with a full driving test, and he got his full driving license. See, driving tests, as I said already, are completely different to a driving test, and you need to get into the mentality for the full driving test. You need to be kind of showing what's going to happen on the day, so that you're prepared well for that as well on the day. Even from the point of view of where to park your vehicle in the test centre, how to park it, getting in and out of the test centre as well. All these things have to be explained well before you do a full driving test. And if you give your driving instructor plenty of time to be able to do all these things coming up to your driving test, then you'll have more chances of passing your driving test than if you just did a few lessons before your test and a week of your test. It's very difficult then to get you fully prepared for your driving test. So folks, that's all we have now for you on this video on whether a mock driving test is worth it or not. We reckon it is in a certain context. So if your driving test is coming up, folks, all the very best of luck with it. And if you like this video, please do click the like button and subscribe to our channel. We like to help people out now and again with little videos on the topic of driving as much as we can. So until next time, folks, thanks very much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye for now.